Welcome to the Only Male Cruz Show, the podcast. I am the Only Male Cruz. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe, leave a comment. You know I want to hear from you. Copyright disclaimer regarding fair use is in full effect. The views and opinions expressed in this show, you guessed it, they're all mine. Let's go to work. Welcome to the Only Male Cruz Show, the podcast. I am the Only Male Cruz. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, replay game, leave a comment. You know I want to hear from you. All right, so today's show, motion for a judgment of acquittal. Now, as most everyone knows, the motion was granted. Attorney Jennifer Bongine, had submitted her motion. It was dismissed without prejudice. The judge in New York wanted the package of the motion to be reduced and limited to like 20 pages. So she, of course, and I went over that yesterday, where she'd written a letter saying, hey, look, this is so deep. This is an unusual case. We can't contain it to just 20 pages. So we're asking you to allow us to submit this 56-page motion. And so yesterday, while I was on Infamous Sylvia's show, we found out that, I found out when I got over there to her show, that the motion had been granted. And just a stark reminder, yesterday was a holiday, so no courthouses and things of that nature were open. But the judge went ahead and granted Attorney Bongine's request to let me just submit this big package, because this is a big case. So it was approved. So what we're doing today, we're just getting into some of the elements of the argument that Bongine had inside of the motion. So let's get into it. All right, so to sustain a conviction for RICO, the government must prove that the defendant, 1, through the commission of 2 or more acts constituting a pattern of racketeering activity, 2, directly or indirectly invested in, maintained an interest in, or participated in an enterprise, and 3, the activities of which affected interstate or foreign commerce. As set out below, the government offered insufficient proof of all elements of the offense of racketeering. So they had those 3 points that they needed to prove, and of course, they didn't. As set out in the detail below, defendant's RICO conviction cannot stand where the government failed to prove the existence of an enterprise, the activities of which affected interstate commerce, and a pattern of racketeering activity. Moreover, insufficient evidence existed to prove each and every element of the charged Mann Act violations by proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that there was one case or one charge that they didn't convict Kelz on, and I can't remember exactly what that was. So the next time I speak with Infamous Sylvia, shout out to Infamous Sylvia, I'm going to make sure that we find that out. And by the way, please take a look at the ticker running below. You're going to see Infamous Sylvia's Cash App. Be sure to, you feel it in your heart, make it rain on her Cash App, because she is really providing us with the factual information. And it costs a pretty little cute coin to get a hold of these documents and transcripts and things like that. So just, if you feel it, go ahead and drop something off in Infamous Sylvia's Cash App. You'll see the Cash App address running in the ticker below. All right. Now, admittedly, prosecutors have used RICO in a wide variety of circumstances under the statute's liberal construction clause. Now, the Supreme Court acknowledged that the clause is not without limits, but they also indicated that the liberal construction clause was not an invitation to apply RICO to new purposes that Congress never intended. The government clearly exceeded these limits, with the prosecution as evidenced by its failure to prove the charge of racketeering. Yeah, these attorneys, Kelz did not have good representation, but thank God for Jennifer Bongine, because she is on the case. She's bringing y'all that work. The defendant did not go through all the trouble of becoming a world-famous R&B singer for the purpose of engaging in illegal sexual activity, even if his job put him in proximity to women. The government cannot end-run the common purpose requirement by identifying a broad objective of the enterprise unrelated to any fraudulent activity with no nexus to the racketeering activity. And no nexus to the racketeering activity is just essentially saying you can't try to, there's no connection. There's no connection with his sexual behavior and quote unquote racketeering. So the government's evidence of an enterprise was insufficient because it failed to establish that defendants' employees and entourage shared the common purpose of recruiting women to engage in illegal sexual activity with defendant that included the following: creating pornography. Now, notably, the government does not define illegal sexual activity, but based on the predicate acts charged, the government contends that defendants' employees and entourage shared an objective of ensuring that defendant had his sexual needs met by women, some, but not all, underage women, while at home and while traveling, was able to control these women to engage in sexual conduct the government deems abusive, and was also able to videotape his sexual activities with these women. So they're trying to say, hey, the government was trying to say, yeah, that's the only reason why Kelz had his entourage and his employees, just so they could just, hook them up. Also, to be clear, the government contends that making sure that defendants' sexual needs were met was the objective of the enterprise, in addition to promoting his music and brand. Come on, y'all. Kelz has done a lot of things, and I don't think he needed to become a world-renowned R&B singer just to get down with the get down. You heard what I said? So thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and also take a note of that ticker. If it moves you any type of way, be sure to make it rain on Infamous Sylvia's Cash App. It costs a pretty coin, a cute little coin, to get these documents. So anything you can do to help offset those costs, hey, that's why we can bring you the truth and the facts right now, because Infamous Sylvia is bringing them, all right? So that's it. That's the podcast. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I want to hear from you. And until next time, we will see ya when we see ya. Welcome to the Only Male Cruz Show, the podcast. I am the Only Male Cruz. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I want to hear from you. Copyright disclaimer regarding fair use is in full effect. The views and opinions expressed in this show, you guessed it, they're all mine. Let's go to work.